Hello again and welcome to Catholic Social Teachings 101, Segment 18. I'm Jim Grant, the Director of Social Justice Ministry for the Diocese of Fresno, and it is my pleasure once again to share with you with a panel about the situation of our new neighbors, our Syrian brothers and sisters who are now relocating to live among us as our new family, our new community. We have had another program recently telling us certain things that are going on, and this program does not mean to be repeating that same program, but rather offering with different guests, different insights into what is going on here, how the community, the interfaith community, is responding to this possibility. Not a challenge, but a possibility, an opportunity to share. When I was up in Modesto 2 months ago, I was able to talk to the newly appointed secretary appointed by Pope Francis in charge of migrants in the whole world, in charge of migrants and refugees. His name is Father Michael Czerny, and Father Czerny shared something with me over a beer, actually, and here's what he said. You know, we talk about the crisis of the refugees, but I like to look at it in a different way. I like to look at it as not a crisis, but an opportunity that a diocese like yours or a religion like ours would accept brothers and sisters to live among us and to form a new community with them. So instead of stressing the crisis, I like to stress the opportunity. And I said, thank you, Father Michael. That's not what everyone says, but we're going to try to make that happen in Fresno. And I think that's what's happening. People are absorbing certain families and reaching out to them as individuals, not as a mass number of people. They are individuals. They are special families. They are people with their own history. So on that note, I'd like to introduce our new panel and let them tell us something about what's going on now that they are involved in. Beginning on the extreme right, we have a new guest. His name is Ruben Chavez, and Ruben is working there at Clinica Sierra Vista, and he'll be sharing with us what that wonderful clinic does for so many for so long. In the middle of our panel, we have a new guest. Her name is Sally Vogel. She will share something about her own commitment as an individual and as a volunteer to this opportunity that Father Czerny is telling us about. And on my right again is my good friend Wasan Abu Bakr, who will share, differently than in the other program, certain commitments that she has and certain volunteers that she is coordinating who are doing some of this wonderful work among us. So let's begin then with Ruben, and maybe Ruben introduce the beautiful project that is called Clinica Sierra Vista, for those that don't know, and how it is that you are now expanding your possibilities of doing good in this moment with our new community that moved into town.
Well, good morning, Jim. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure for being here and representing Clinica Sierra Vista.
Thank you.
Clinica Sierra Vista has been in existence for 46 years.
Wow.
We are a nonprofit, federally qualified health center. Our roots are in Weed Patch, California, in Kern County, where we started out as a farm worker clinic. So we're helping the campesinos, the other underserved, underrepresented people in our communities. From that, we've grown to over 18 clinics in Kern County, a clinic in Inyo County, and 10 clinics here in Fresno County. We have approximately 1,200 people who provide medical primary care to all of the people in our communities. At Clinica Sierra Vista, we provide primary care to include pediatrics, family medicine, OB/GYN. We have dental services, we have x-ray, we have behavioral health, we have a wide range of services. In your previous show, you had somebody talking about cultural and linguistic competency. Clinica Sierra Vista, from day one, has been providing culturally and linguistically competent services. A few months ago, we were talked to or outreached by Dr. Abu Bakr, who's Wasan's husband. He was a local pharmacist, and he told us about this need that's in the community. Again, our mission is to serve the underserved. That's what we do. That's our passion. That's our mission. That's what we've always done. That's what we're always going to do. And we saw that there was a need, so we linked up with Dr. Abu Bakr, and he gave us some information, and we started connecting with the patients or the families that were that have recently come to Fresno. So what we did is we provided primary care services, dental services. We have transportation services, so we have a van that went to go pick them up and bring them to their appointments. Dr. Abu Bakr, his wife, and other people in the community helped us with translation once they came on board as volunteers and helped us with the translation. But we also saw that we need more Arabic speakers. So we have a call center, a centralized call center that we employ several people, and we had some openings. So we decided, if we're going to serve this community, we need to have people who speak Arabic. So we hired a part-time Arabic speaker. We have people who speak Spanish, English, Hmong, and also now Arabic. So that staff member, Ruby Sultan, has done a wonderful job. She's actually Syrian as well. And she's reached out to the community. She's taken these refugees as if they're her own family. And every time I see Ruby at the office, she's just very pleased, very happy, very content. I think for all of us who are involved, again, this is just one more community, one more group that we're reaching out to and trying to make our own in the community. So.
It's been such a pleasure meeting over this program today and last week. Different people in different agencies, different capacities, different agencies, different churches that are reaching out in different ways to expand whatever they are, whatever they do, into a broader, wider, richer, complete embrace of the possibility of serving different people. That would bring up Sally. So Sally, tell us a little bit about your own faith and why it is that you're involved with this Interfaith Alliance of Central California, and how you're also, as I find out, committed to this Syrian project. Tell us about that. Okay. Tell us about yourself.
Certainly. Well, I think it began in the 1980s when I became a Peace Corps volunteer in Lesotho, Southern Africa. And I just found the intercultural community to be so enriching and could learn so much from one another. And I carried that. It's still one of the highlights of my life, and it was now 30 years ago. Wow. And I also retired 2 years ago as a teacher of the visually impaired. I worked with lots of immigrants, mostly Hmong and immigrants from Mexico, but part of my job was to acculturate them. So we went into grocery stores and we went into post offices and we learned about traffic lights and we did all of those things. And so I'm building on those skills. And I heard about the refugee work. First of all, I was so excited to hear that Canada was accepting 25,000, and I thought, well, maybe I could go to Canada, but then I couldn't just volunteer. And then I couldn't figure out how I'd support myself. And then I heard there were refugees in Turlock, and I thought, well, that might be doable. I could maybe drive to Turlock. And then I heard they'd come to Fresno, so it was a perfect fit. And I'm a member of the First Congregational Church, but I actually had started this before our church jumped in, and our church has now adopted a Syrian family. I couldn't be more thrilled.
This is so beautiful to hear. Sometimes we're on committees with people, we are at meetings, and we know they're good people because they're on the same committee we're on, so they must be good, right? But we don't know the depth of their goodness. We don't know what they did 30 years ago. We don't know that they were 2 years ago doing something, and that we only see them at the moment. Like I see Ruben now. I don't know about Ruben, what he was doing before, but hearing about Clinica Sierra Vista working with the migrant ministry back 46 years ago, that opens up such a world of goodness that you've been doing, that Clinica represents so many good things.
Thank you.
So does the Big Red Church. It's just a big, wonderful community of heart. Can you tell us, Wasan, something about the commitment that church is making? Because Pastor Ara, couldn't be here today. He had a service at this very hour over at church, at the First Congregational. Can you tell us about how your connection with Pastor Ara has developed so that church has become part of your expanding outreach?
Okay. It's all about building relationships. So it starts with Simon. Simon called me and he said, I want to help the Syrian families. I didn't know Simon, and I felt that he has a nice, pure heart. And he connected me with Kathleen Shavur. She's an Armenian therapist. And she told me through the phone, I am half Syrian and Palestinian. So she's Armenian Syrian, Armenian Palestinian. So I said, okay, so she's aware of the culture. She can meet the families, and they can love her. And I'm sure that she has rich culture about herself, so she can make really good connections fast. So she connected me. We met with the families. They love her, and she started connecting me with different people. And then Pastor Ara, she said that he knows her since she was a child. So we got invited through Mary Walls after the Fresno P article that they picked me to be one of the Christmas faces in 2016 through Facebook. She connected with me the same day of Christmas. I want to help the families. I am from the Big Red Church. Can we meet at Starbucks, me and you and Kathleen and my husband Peter? They both lawyers. Wow. And they're nice people. We met, and she said, okay, tell me about the families. I told her the needs and the families. She met with Pastor R and her congregations, and after a while she said, we want you and Kathleen to come and do presentation at Big Red Church to let people hear about your story with the families. And Kathleen shared her stories as a mental health provider. And we went, we had, they catered from few families for lunch for Sunday after the service, and we had the presentation. They're very nice people at the church. Pastor Ara, he introduced me to his mom. She's from Aleppo, Syrian, and she came as a refugee. So she had that connection. They have this connection with the families, and they want to help. And after, I know Sally, but I didn't know that she goes to the Big Red Church. And I met other people randomly that they want to help, and they all ESL teachers. I connected them to the families. I work with them, and they're all from the Big Red Church. After a while, they said, we want to adopt one family, which is the family that she's doing the ESL with them. They have 6 kids. And they created this program that they want all the people from the congregation to help. Or last Saturday, Pastor Ara and his volunteers, they took the family to the zoo for the first time. And they had great time. A lot of stories to share about Big Red Church, and this is one place that you can see how other faiths, they want to help from their heart, and they want to be part of this journey, part of the memories for the families.
Well, once again, I want to thank my panel for the first half of this program, Ruben Chavez and Sally Vogel and Wasan Abubakar, for sharing how it is that in so many threads of connections and so many relationships built over decades, people coming indirectly from Aleppo, places that we're hearing in the news, there are people that are refugees from there, but they've been there a long time now in this country. This has been going on a long time. This is not a brand new issue. This is almost eternal. People on the move, people needing to find hope, people needing to find a new home. I want to thank Ruben and Sally and Wasan for what they do to make this possible. We'll take our 1-minute break. I think the Pope has a message for us, and we'll be back with another panel in 1 minute. Till then, God bless.
¿Puede un país afrontar por sí solo las dificultades que produce la emigración forzada? Debemos pasar de la indiferencia y del miedo a la aceptación del otro. Porque ese otro podría ser tú o yo. Súmate conmigo en esta petición. Que los países que acogen a gran número de refugiados y desplazados sean apoyados en su esfuerzo de solidaridad.
Welcome to the second part of our second program on our new brothers and sisters, our Syrian community that is moving to Fresno. You may wonder why so much interest in this phenomenon. Well, I'd like to bring it back to Syria and something that happened on March 25th at the parish of Santa Maria delle Grazie alla Fornaci. It's obviously in Italian, but it's in Damascus. It's the cathedral. And the apostolic nuncio in Damascus was giving a homily on the day of the Annunciation of the Blessed Virgin. And it says here in this note, in his homily, the cardinal turned his thoughts to the martyred in Syria. 400,000 dead, 2 million wounded, among whom many are mutilated, about 5 million refugees in countries outside of Syria, more than 6 million internally displaced, more than 600,000 besieged without the possibility of humanitarian aid, thousands of children dead under the bombardments, wounded, mutilated, lacerated in body and spirit, a real and proper slaughter of the innocents, from his homily. In sort of concluding, he said this, I don't know how to describe the atrocity in my country, but whoever doesn't believe in hell, suffice it for him or her to come here, and you'll realize what hell is. He concluded with a bit of challenge to us. Public opinion must exert pressure on governments, because a great danger is that little by little, these tragedies will all be forgotten. So we open on a sobering note of the depth of pain and agony that Syria is suffering at this time. But we have 3 people here on our panel who, for those that have escaped, for those who are seeking refuge, because refugees are those in flight, those seeking hospice, seeking a home. I'd like our panel today, I'll introduce them and let them share final thoughts about what we've been talking about now for the last 3 segments that some of you have been watching, I hope, week by week. My first guest on the extreme right is Simon Biasell, who is a board member at Fresno Interdenominational Refugee Ministries and a Presbyterian pastor. He'll tell you a bit about that. We have Lucky back again. We're so glad that Lucky Siphongsay is going to be helping us close down the program. And our good friend Wasan Abu Bakr will have some final thoughts about what we are trying to do till our next program, which will offer, again, some more thoughts. Lucky, can you start us off with the idea of where the community of Fresno is going now in our outreach to our brothers and sisters?
Right. So I think at the beginning stage of this whole process, to really echo about what everybody has mentioned so far in the previous segment, it was a big challenge. In anything that deals with organization involvement, it's a difficult task, and it requires a lot of partnership. Firm cannot do it by ourselves. We just can't do it. That evolves with communicating with other resources, like Ruben and Seth, who we mentioned earlier about the health clinic. Other nonprofits, volunteer churches who are able to give time to this community. What do we represent as a community? We're here to help our new families that are here today. And that is a total message of what everybody is trying to do. The main objective is to support the family. There's a lot of different ball players, different ideas of how certain things should be operated, right? But if there's no structure to develop this in the beginning, then everything kind of falls out of place. So the process where we're at now, it's still a continuing challenge, but we've developed a better relationship in order to tackle some of those challenges. I think we've gone a lot better as a group, and we're starting to understand how to tackle those issues. Now moving forward, we are integrating a lot of different other systems as well. And we're doing that because we've already been experienced throughout the whole process. So it's been a great opportunity to really work with our fellow volunteers, our churches, folks who are dedicating a lot of their time to partake in this issue. And the community involvement, which is so special, and the community are able to have a heart and more like a warm handoff of all these other resources that are available to the family. So I really, really want to thank everybody who's been a part of this process. It's making it very easy for us as an organization to figure out some of their needs for the family and how to get them to acclimate here in the American society. Yes.
Simon, can you introduce yourself a little bit more and tell us how it is that you joined the board at FIRM and how you see the commitment, your own personal faith commitment, to doing something positive in favor of our new brothers and sisters that are arriving from war-torn Syria?
Sure. As you said, I'm a Presbyterian pastor, and our denomination here in Fresno has had a long relationship with FIRM. In high school, I remember volunteering with my church and FIRM, and so I've known FIRM for a while. And I personally, I think like a lot of people, in fact, I know like a lot of people in Fresno, when they heard, like Sally heard about the need that was here, said, what can we do? So I called Wasan and volunteered myself and my congregation to help. And it has been amazing to watch different faith communities, different people of faith, people of different beliefs coming together to support these people, these new friends of ours. One of the things that I appreciate about FIRM is in the name is this interdenominational, this effort that says we can't do this alone. We can't do this simply as one denomination. We have to reach out and work together. And there's been multiple times when I've been in the apartment complex where a number of families live, where another volunteer comes to visit from a Mennonite congregation, from obviously the Islamic community, the Latter-day Saints. All these people are coming together, and the wonderful thing is it's not to promote our own beliefs or our own churches. Right. One of the things that I think of is these families have had so much taken away from them. Their homes, their cities, their country, their friends, their jobs, their schools. And they arrive in this strange land, and the one thing that they have is their faith. This one thing that they can hold on, this one thing that can be brought with them here. And I have been so impressed with FIRM and their efforts as a Christian organization to partner with Islamic Cultural Center and individuals who are Muslim to say, we have a lot to learn from you. We want to work with you. And so, yeah, it has been humbling for me to join this effort, and a deep honor to be invited into these communities.
We've got about a minute only, Wasan. Can you say one thing about the resources that you have compiled? There's a list that you've sent to me, and I even expanded, but I'm up to 80 different resources with email addresses, with phone numbers, with descriptions. Can you tell us in a minute about the resources that you can make available to people?
So through the fellowship with the American Friends Service Committee of Pan Valley Institute, Myrna, the director, she wants to be part of this. American Friends, they have a long history serving the refugees, 100 years. And they have a lot of offices around the world, in Palestine and Middle East countries. And I was honored to work with her. When the families start coming from Trolak, she said, we want to be part of this, and we will support you, Wasan, as a community member from the Muslim community, and I will connect you to a lot of people, different services, resources, use the office to meet people. And we had different meetings. We invited a lot of people from different faith organizations, and we decided to create a list of resources and send it to people so they can connect the families and be aware that we have all these resources in Fresno or even outside California.
We have 30 seconds, so what I'm going to say is this. If you want to get a list of these resources, why don't you email me? We'll put this on right now, how to be in touch with me at the Office of Social Justice. But I want to close with a thought. If you have more than you need, build a longer table, not a higher wall. And that's what's on the brochure that we have at the Newman Center when we have our monthly New Neighbor Dinners. The last Monday of every month at 6:30 at the Newman Center, we are serving Syrian dinners cooked by Syrian families. Come to the Newman Center the last Monday of any month. Call for details. Stay tuned. God bless. We'll be back again next time with another episode of Catholic Social Teaching 101. Till then, God bless.